Hi, everyone. Good night, good night, good night. I'm back in New York, Brooklyn, New York. I'm back. Woo! I had a short visit in Michigan, Detroit, and now I'm back. And it was an interesting visit, I must say. Very interesting visit. Let me see. I'm going to wait a couple of seconds. Let me count to 10, see if anyone's out there who's going to hop on. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, it is, I guess, kind of late, so a lot of folks probably getting ready to go to bed and whatnot. But I like to stay up late, so I am up. I'm up. I'm sipping some chamomile tea. Hopefully, this will soothe my throat so I won't start coughing. This mug is from Michigan. See, it's from Michigan. But I had this for a while. Matter of fact, I think my son gave me this mug. They went, I thought it was hilarious. My son went to, I think it was Canada. Was it really Canada? No, Mount Airy Lodge. And he came back with a Lake Michigan mug to give me as a souvenir. I'm like, what on earth? You didn't even go to Michigan and you're giving me a Michigan mug? I just thought that was hilarious. That was so funny to me. Man, my son, I don't know, he's something else. Yeah. Anyway, I thank God again for keeping me in my right mind. I thank God for everything that He's done for me and my son, my family members, and what He's still about to do for us. Anyway, so when we last spoke, I mentioned the literary device alliteration with you, and I'm certain that you probably hear it every single day of your life and didn't realize that, oh, this is a literary device called alliteration, which is the repetition of sounds. And of course, it could be, the sounds could be repeated for emotional reasons, you know, um, to show description, mm, and to show movement. Yeah. And every day when we turn on the TV and we hear commercials, most likely you'll hear some alliteration. All right. It's actually a lot of fun. And again, many of these literary devices can be combined because in alliteration, you could also hear similes and other forms, other literary devices that we haven't gotten into at this moment. But anyway, I just came on to say hi and, share a little something with you. And as a matter of fact, yeah, hey, you women out there, and probably men, you probably experienced this on the flip side with women. But I'm like, sometimes I have to shake my head and ask myself, what is this world coming to? And I hate to be one to say this, but I'm going to say it. There's this, I love, I love people. I love my African brothers and sisters, but I'm telling you, there's some people from certain cultures that they're so into game playing and trying to use people for money, and then they go hard. But the bottom line is they hit you up for money at some point. So I met this guy, right? Not too long ago. And because I'm such a follower of Jesus Christ, and I do like to see people happy and enjoying their lives. But however, I don't know how. what you folks out there think, but when people know that you are a believer in Jesus Christ, somehow they think you must be a sucker, a fool, an idiot, or stupid. They think they could run games on you and and get over on you. So this guy, right? I must admit that at first it seemed plausible. He seemed believable at first. But then I started pondering. Let me tell you what happened with this guy. I met him because I went to find something in a public spot. I try to get, rent a space out because I'm producing a play that I wrote, okay, about generational curses. So he was the security guard at this place that I went to rent out, right? So we got to talking because in this moment I'm single, I'm not seeing anyone in this moment. I kind of just broke up with someone not too long ago. But in this moment, I'm single. And so we were talking and whatnot. And I discovered he told me he's from Nigeria, and we chatted for a while, and I said, you know what? He might be a nice guy. So he actually asked me for my number and I gave him my correct number and he gave me his number. And I just met this guy. And he's like going hard. Oh, he calls me, I think it was the following day. I miss you. I want to meet up with you. I want to see you. And like, oh, I've been thinking so much about you and all these things. It's like he is going hard. Like, like seriously, I just met you. You can't be having all these great feelings for me. And like, we just met. What is up with you, dude? That's where I was like, and so, and then, I did speak to him because I guess I'm kind-hearted. So we were on the phone, we spoke for a while, and he was started telling me about all these hard times he has. Like he had to hire a lawyer because he lives in a shelter, and he was telling me all these different things. I don't have a issue with people. You got to do what you got to do in this life in order to survive. So if you have to stay in a shelter until you get yourself together, I don't look down on people because of where they're at, because everyone, at some point in time in their lives, they go through stuff. So I was listening to him, and he was telling me like, oh, he had over $100,000, and somehow he lost his money, got like taken away from him. His car got taken away from him, and then he was into computers, and all his equipment got taken away from him. And he wasn't like living here in New York, but he had to move to New York, and then some cop falsely accused him of something or did something to him, so he has to hire lawyers. And he's telling me all these hard stories about him and whatnot. So I'm like listening to him and like, he was telling me all of this and we just met, right? And he was just sharing all these things about me. And I guess he was sharing this stuff to me because he feels like, because I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, that, he felt that I would have compassion for him. So I listened to him. And then, he called me from time, like he would be calling me, right? And then every time he calls me, he's like, "Oh, I've been thinking about you. I miss you." And he was like going hard on like if we were like together. And I'm Guy. We just met. You don't know me. I don't know you. So you can't be having all these deep feelings for me because we don't really know each other. So let me get to my point, just in case some of you may not even know the reality of what I'm about to tell you. And and some of the conversations I had with him, I told him that people from his culture, they are known to being con artists. I literally told him that. And he looked really, really skinny. Like, so I asked him, I said, "Are you really on drugs or something? Because you look like really like skinny." And he told me he's not eating properly because he's living in the shelter and stuff like that. So he's not eating properly and whatnot. And these are things he told me. So I'm like, wow, wow. So he had me going for a minute there. And then as time went on, we just met. Okay. We really just met. Every time he would speak to me on the phone, he was like, "Oh, I miss you. I think about you all the time. Can we meet up tomorrow?" And I told him I'm really busy because I got this production that I'm putting out there. And he was just going on like how much he misses me. And I'm like, "Guy, I really don't have time, to meet up with you." And then he's telling me like, oh, he had to spend his last money on a lawyer and whatnot. And then shortly after that, he says, "Could I meet up? Can we meet up tomorrow and go hang out, like go somewhere for something?" And I'm like, "How you gonna take me somewhere and when you don't have money?" All right, so you gotta be like really, really careful when you meet people because they give themselves away. Okay. So I'm listening to him and taking mental notes. So when I was in like Michigan, he calls me and he's like, "Oh, I miss you so much." And I'm this and that. And I mean, this guy, I think they call this love bombing. And then I came to the realization. Well, I was coming to the realization. I'm like, this guy, I bet you if I continue talking to this guy, at some point he's gonna hit me up for money because that's the game that they play. And there's so many women who got caught up in such con games. In actuality, in reality, black women, white women, doesn't matter. There's so many women who have fallen for these tricksters. So I say, you know what? And oh, by the way, that and when he would say, "Oh, when you come back, let's meet up and this and that, this and that." Well, I guess to the untutored mind, that sounds wonderful that he wants to meet up with me and hang out and whatnot. But if he doesn't have money, I mean, clearly we could go to the park or something, but whatever. I don't know him like that. We don't know each other. If you don't have any money, why are you so focused on trying to like get with me? When you can't even really take care of yourself. I mean, that's how my mind is working. So I'm like, I'm super busy, but I say, you know what, I could be friend in my mind. I'm thinking I could be friends with this guy. But then I came to the realization that he's on games, and like he's doing one of the same tricks that a lot of people from, unfortunately, not all people from his country are like that. But there are quite a few of them who like to play these games on women. And for the men, maybe there are women like that who try to play these games on them too. But so anyway, I'm going back and forth. So when I told him that he can't be having all these strong feelings towards me because he doesn't know me, we just met. And then he keeps going on and on about how his feelings for me are so great and strong and all of that. And and I keep repeating to him, it's not possible for you to have all these deep feelings for me because you don't know me and I don't know you. And at some point, he got upset with me and he said, "You know what? I don't like it when people tell me that I'm not feeling what I'm feeling." So he said, "I'm going to hang up." So, you know what I told him? I said, "Bye." And then the following day, I blocked him. I blocked him the following day because I realized I'm like, because that's all he would talk to me about, all his issues. Oh, he has to pay his lawyer. He's living in a shelter and he has to do this with money and that with money. And I'm like playing back the tapes and I'm like, this guy is on games, okay? And I am not going to be falling for his trick. I'm not that person, all right? So, so I ended up blocking him the following day, but I unblocked him today. You know why? Because if he calls me again, I'm going to let him know what time it is. That I don't have any money to give him. All right. And obviously, clearly, he's not going to admit that that was his game or whatever. But I'm telling you all these things, so in case some of you are not aware that there are men out there like that, people out there like that, if you're a man there's most likely the women version. But I'm like, this guy, he was off the chain with his nonsense. But anyway, enough of that. But when I think about stuff like that, I think like, wow, life would be so much happier and so much It would be so much better if people were just authentically themselves and stop trying to run game on other people. It's really, really sad that people feel like they have to run game. And it's also sad that there are people who actually fall for the game. Because what somebody I know, one of my friends, associates, I'm trying not to use the word friends because really, I prefer to use the word associate, but that word is kind of long and friends is shorter. That's why I use the word friends. But someone I know said to me, like, she knew of this Caucasian woman who actually married a Nigerian man, and she had a lot of money saved in the bank. So they got married, and I forgot where she told me they moved to, this man and this woman. And then he used up all her money, and then she had to go back to her country broke without any money because he used up all of her money because he married her to use her money. Now, I want you to ponder that, people. Look at the lengths people would go to for money, use and abuse people. And life can be really, really tough sometimes. And it's really, really sad. Anyway, yeah, I actually wrote I did something dumb when I was in the gym actually. I broke two nails. Literally my and then two nails broke off and peeled off part of my nail, and my two fingers were bleeding like, oh my god, and the pain is excruciating. And I have to like wait till the nail grow back over the meat. So I have to bandage up my two nails, my two fingers here. It's not bleeding like it was yesterday when I first broke my two nails into the flesh, halfway down into the bed of my fingers. I don't want to show it to you guys. It's like, it's too much. It's too much. But anyway, all is well. I'm starting to like, maybe I don't even want to like grow my nails long anymore and just keep them short and just color them short because this was a very, very painful experience. But anyway, I wrote a little alliteration here. I'm going to share it. Let me bring it up on my phone. I wrote it in my phone a little earlier today, actually. So tell me what you think. I have on my little suspenders and whatnot. Let me tell me what you think about this. And I am Kathleen Fraser, for those of you who don't know, and welcome to my YouTube page. So here it is. Caring Kathleen canceled the concert after continuous carelessness from constituents calling for counterproductive conditions that cannot create the conclusion considered by caretakers. Yeah, I wrote that. Let me read it again. Caring Kathleen, that's me. Caring Kathleen canceled the concert after continuous carelessness from constituents calling for counterproductive conditions that cannot create the conclusion considered by caretakers. You see, when you think about the words that I wrote there, I could have said something, made it more simpler, but here it's adding, like, to me, it's adding beauty, it's adding color, it's adding emotions, it's it's adding movement. And I love it. I love it. And I'm getting an idea as I write these different literary devices in the form of, poetry or what have you. I'm really loving it. And this is one of the reasons why I love writing, because writing is beautiful. When you put together words that seem unrelated, it's a thing of beauty. And I just love the imagery produced in this alliteration. And by the way, the word imagery, that's also a literary device. All right, because sometimes words create pictures in your mind. So imagery is also a literary device. So when I mentioned to you that literary devices can kind of intermingle with each other to give meaning, that's what I'm talking about. Because you get images from the literary devices. And it's so beautiful. This is so beautiful. I love it so much. Yeah. Not because I wrote it, but because it's beautiful and I love it. But anyway, I've been on for quite a while, longer than well, what's this? 21 minutes. Let's see here. A little over 21 minutes. So I'm going to hop off and I'm going to say to you, always be grateful to God for everything that He has blessed you with, because you are blessed. If you can breathe, you are blessed. And yeah, there are things that do happen in life. Sometimes not so good things happen. But, in order to continue on in this life and have a successful life, it's important that you develop a relationship with my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. But anyway, I hope to see you soon. And tell me what you think about this alliteration that I wrote. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And please share. Share. Share to your people you know. And for those of you home in Trinidad, hi, see you soon. I'm excited to visit home because whenever I go home, it's a beautiful feeling to be home in Trinidad. So, like, subscribe, and share. I am Kathleen Frazier, and it's been a pleasure talking to you. See you when I see you.